Welcome to another episode of the Ant and Jer Show, which is brought to you by BeTheLimitlessYou. And this show is where we discuss personal development ideas because we found that our own personal development and the growth that we've got is come through our diverse perspectives of looking at the same idea, but from a different angle. Because we've noticed there's more than one way to look at the same thing, and more than one person can be right. And you can look at one thing one way, you get a perspective from someone else, and then you kind of go, I didn't look at it that way. I've got some more actions that I can take, and I'm going to improve my growth. So me and Jer act as accountability partners, and every week we make one of these videos to share it with you. And each week we bring an idea to the table. So this week it's Jer's turn to bring an idea to the table. So I will hand it over to you, Jer.
Right, hello. So yeah, we watch a 15-minute clip on decisions by Earl Nightingale. And it's the same 15-minute clip we've been watching for the last couple of weeks. So something that we see that stands out to us is what we talk about that day. So today I spotted, and Ant's going to put it up on the screen now any moment. I click the click.
Comment.
Yeah. Right. So what I have heard this line. I have like listened to this line before. I have heard it, but it stood out to me. And we have kind of discussed this before on a different occasion, but it just stood out again. So he listens. So Earl is speaking, 15 minutes, and this is just one little part. So he listens to the voice within and knows he is always right. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams, the life which he has imagined, and will meet with success unexpectedly in common hours. Well, I think that line is really, really good. There's so much depth in that line. So he listens to the voice within. Now remember, this is a discussion about decisions, okay? So he listens to the voice within. So, which is basically your intuition, your gut feeling. You're not listening to the outside influences or the influences from Facebook or, whatever outside influences. And he knows he's always right if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams. Now, that is a vision. That is your own vision. And when he means dreams, I think he means from your imagination. So that is your life vision that you've dreamt up. And then the life which he has imagined, yes, that's from your imagination, and will meet with success unexpectedly in common hours. So if you're listening to the voice within, because your subconscious is guiding you towards your dreams, which you dreamt in your imagination, you are unexpectedly, with the laws of the universe, you are going to be successful. And he even says in common hours. So he's basically saying in hours. He says it's not actually going to happen in hours, but what he means is it's going to happen very quickly if you do it really correctly. Now, that's to listen to your own voice within. That's difficult to do, especially when you've got everybody's opinions, and opinions are free, and everybody loves to give a bloody opinion, even if they've got no knowledge behind them. But to listen to your own voice, but then it is a little bit easier to listen to your own voice if you've got a plan, because someone might give you advice, and if that doesn't really fall into your dreams or your imagination for your life, you can easily take the knowledge on board, but not act on it and go, yeah, that's fine, but make the decision yourself. So having a vision is very important, because then you can listen to the voice within. And he knows he's always right, because one is advancing in the decisions. So the decisions you're making are going towards your goals. Now, that could be a 20-year vision. a 3-year vision, a 1-year vision, 3 monthly vision. And that could be goals across anything: finances, family, health, wealth. Yeah, so, but if you have a vision, you will make decisions towards that vision. What do you think, Ant, on that?
Yeah, there's so much here, isn't there?
There's
And
so much.
the thing that sticks out straight away is that voice within. I think it's worth just unpacking that a little bit because
Yeah,
the voice within, it's like we've had a few discussions this week about our inner worlds and what exactly is it? You'll hear Bob Proctor saying that we're spiritual beings living in physical bodies. So that voice within, that could be your intuition, it could be your self-talk, it could be your subconscious mind, your gut feeling, your listening to your heart. There's so much of it that people say it and it rolls off their tongue, but I don't think it's truly looked at by the majority of people in the world. And we all get that voice within, and it gives us positive talk and negative. But let's focus on the positive here. We've all had positive voice within telling us that we should be doing this certain thing. And then when we go to do it, something happens that scares us. So we're not advancing confidently in the direction of our dreams when we do that. And the reason why is because we don't believe that we're right if we haven't addressed our belief system. So this goes so deep just in that one sentence there. He listens to the voice within and knows he is always right if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams. So, what are the dreams? If you haven't sat down and thought about what your dreams are and made up your mind that you're going to get them, then you're sort of not, you don't have any direction anyway. And like Jer said, this is about decision, this clip. And we mentioned in a previous episode that the main decision that you need to make is ask yourself what you want and make up your mind that you're going to get it. Because
yeah,
we've kind of made a distinction now between goals and decisions. A goal is something that I used to write down in the hope that it would happen. Now I've made a complete transformation since studying decision every day for the last 50 days or so, that now I'm making decisions. They're my goals. It's not like I hope this will happen. It's like this will happen. I've made up my mind. I'm going to do it. So going into the next bit there, where it says the life which he has imagined, again, this comes from the imagination. So that's within again. No one knows what's in your imagination. No one can see that. I showed you that painting, didn't I? Like Joe, that's in my lounge, and I said, "Oh, it's a local girl who paints this." And I can go on her Instagram feed. I can see she's got blonde hair. She's about 5 foot something. She's got blue eyes. I can see that it's her physical being. But what I could never see is that painting until she expresses it. Do you know what I mean? That painting was always inside of her. It was in her imagination, basically. And we all have this imagination. There's not one person who doesn't have an imagination. And so what's the last line here? And we'll meet with success unexpectedly in common hours. So when you advance and confidently in the direction of your dreams, the way I'm seeing this is all about persistence and faith, that you just keep doing the same thing over and over in the faith, having the faith that it's going to happen. And I think we mentioned Eminem a couple of weeks ago when we said, I told the story. He went to the Rap Olympics. He was trying to be a famous rapper, and he took some
yes.
tapes with him. And he was absolutely devastated because he comes second in the Rap Olympics, and he was handing these tapes out all day, and he was devastated. And he said, "That is it. I'm quitting this. I'm quitting." And he was waiting for his transport home or something. And one person said, "Oh, have you got any tapes left?" And he said he didn't even look at him and he just like literally threw him the tape like that and said, yeah, have it. And then he went home back to his, I think the Olympics were in like, they were somewhere else from where he lives. So he went back home to Detroit. But that tape that he gave to that person, gave it to Jimmy Iovine, he gave it to Dr. Dre, and then that is when his career exploded. So that wasn't what I'm trying to say is that was an unexpected event when he met his success. Okay, he had to do work after that. But yeah, that's the way I'm seeing it.
I see. I haven't seen it like that. Right. I've just got I've just got it, what you meant. So you're basically saying, and will meet with success unexpectedly in common hours. See, I saw it as like if you're working towards your goal, your dreams, it's going to happen on But the way you've seen it is, yeah, because you're working towards that dream, unexpectedly success is just going to jump up in front of you somewhere along the way because you're being persistent and you're constantly working towards that. You're constantly persisting that on that time when you don't expect the success to come, boom, it hits you right in the face, and then you get that break. And you would never have got that break if you weren't working in the directions towards your dreams, the life which you have imagined. Yeah, I get it. Very good point. Really good way to look at it.
And
Yeah.
this is where the overnight success thing comes from, I think, as well. Because when they say, oh, he was an overnight success or she was an overnight success, and they always tell you when these people get interviewed, they say, well, my overnight success actually was 8 years of hard work.
Yeah.
But the thing is, none of us could see that 8 years of hard work and then unexpectedly overnight success. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We
It's
get
like
it's
an actor.
unexpected. Yeah, it's unexpected and it all happens all at once, very, very quickly. Um,
Yeah, an actor is a good, you know, example of that. Like, because the amount of failures that actors go through all the time, and then they get a break, and next minute it's a Hollywood hit, and like, oh wow, that one movie met him. No, it
mm,
wasn't. It was a 20 failures, 30 failures before that, but he was persisting in the direction of his dreams, the life in which he had imagined.
yeah, and listening to that voice within, like believing in
Yeah,
that voice within. Because like you said, we're getting so many negative stuff come at us all the time from different directions, you know. Could be getting it from the newspaper, the radio, like even relatives, neighbors,
friends, anything.
colleagues, yeah, everywhere. You know, they don't know they're doing it necessarily and they don't mean you any harm, but it can knock you off course. It's certainly not me, of course, you know, through my life for sure. I've listened to people that I shouldn't have listened to 100%. And because what they said made me question whether I was right or not. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it says here, knows he is always right if one advances confidently to in the direction of his dreams. I've had people tell me stuff that's not my confidence and going, oh no, that's just a pipe dream. This is real life now.
Yeah, but can I interrupt? You didn't have a plan back then. I bet you didn't have a vision back then.
No, it was a dream in my mind. Because
So
this is the thing,
someone said something to you,
you've got
it
to
would
take it out of
easily
your
knock you off
imagination.
course. Sorry,
Yeah,
but when someone said something to you, it would knock you off course because you didn't have your plan. You see?
that's right, 100%. Because whilst it's in your head, it is a dream, but when you commit it to paper, then that's the first element of giving it form. You know what I mean? While it's in your mind, it's formless. And everything that you're thinking within and what you believe is eventually manifested in the outside world. So when you've got a dream in your mind, it's formless. The minute you put it to paper, you've already started giving it a little bit of form there. You've already started giving it a bit of physical presence.
Yeah,
That's the way I see that. But yeah, you're right. There's so much in this bit here.
it's amazing, really.
Don't know if there's any other angles we can look at it.
Well, it's he listens to the voice within and knows he's always right. See, again, that comes down to like, yeah, you're making decisions that is always right because if it might not even be the right decision in the short term, but at that time, if that decision is bringing you forward towards your goal, then yes, it is the right decision at the time. Now, 6 months down the line, you might go, fuck, that was a totally wrong decision. Just like lost whatever X amount of money on something that didn't work, but I still have my goal. I still want to get there. So I'm just going to reevaluate what happened and then go again. So
Mm,
it's listening to the gut decision, which is, I think, the gut comes from your subconscious, I think. And if you're telling your subconscious, like auto suggestion every day, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And if you keep listing out your goals and your vision, your subconscious is going to feed into that and you're going to attract things to you. Now, if you if you procrastinate on decisions, then you're going to miss the opportunities. So at the time, you have to listen to your gut. And when he listens to the voice within and knows he's always right, at that time, it's the right decision. Just go for it. Because you will get decisions wrong, but the ones you get right, they will bring you forward. And even the ones you get wrong will bring you forward because you will learn from them. So you can never really fail, can you? You're always learning. So it's autonomy. Like, and we've discussed autonomy before. It's making quick decisions in the direction of your goals, your life vision, and that falls into the same category. You can't be wrong because you could be wrong, but you're always still moving forward. You're always still growing. And that's what we need to do in this life. Always, always keep learning. Bob Proctor said it. Personal development, and this is something that you could learn from this as viewers. Personal development will never stop, ever. You will never ever stop doing personal development because you have to keep growing and growing and growing as a person. I will never stop doing it till the day I die. Um, because I can just keep getting to higher and higher levels and keep learning and learning and learning and becoming more and more aware and make better decisions then because I've got more knowledge and better understanding of who I actually am. Slightly off piece on decisions there, but it's all connected.
yeah, it all aligns, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
like you mentioned there, when you say he's always right, even if it is a wrong sort of turn. I know that sounds contradictory, but hear me out. I'm thinking of another Eminem story now. This is how the mind works. See, I talk about Eminem once, and then there's another Eminem story comes along. So when that's the reason why you write your goals down, you write your vision down, you keep them in your mind because you attract a tr train of thought about whatever it is that's you're thinking about. So Eminem's in my consciousness now. So to tell this story, yeah, he's always right if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams. Like you said, he's always believes he's right, even if he creates something that is not necessarily up to scratch. So this Eminem story, he said one of his albums, I think it was called Relapse, he doesn't like that album at all. He said it wasn't a very good album, but his next album, Recovery, was a smash hit, like one of his best albums. And I saw an interview, and the interviewer asked him, said, "Do you regret making Relapse?" And he was like, "Not at all." He said, "Because there's no way I could have made Recovery album if I didn't make Relapse." So that's quite a good example, I think, of still believing he was right to do that. And he was advancing confidently in the direction of his dreams because he wanted to get an album out and he did. All right, he didn't create something that he was proud of, but the
Learn from it.
marketplace certainly liked it, and after that, that drove him on. That probably strengthened his desire to create something better, for sure. Because And that's just the confidence. That's the confidence. Because I know
Yeah.
I've been guilty of in the past trying something, it doesn't work first time, and then you lose confidence. I've definitely been guilty of that. I'm sure we all have. But a decisive decision maker who's, advancing confidently towards their dreams, they might make the odd wrong decision, but they're on the right track. That's how I'm seeing that.
Yeah, well, if your goal is up here, you're never going to go like that. You're going to go like this. But as long as you're still going towards your goal, um, as long as you're still continuing in that direction, the upward direction, you're gonna go up and down and up and down. Of course, that's natural. But there's learning in every single one of those curves. Like you're growing and then you fail, then you just reevaluate and you go again. And what I mean by that, because a lot of people say these analogies like, oh, you grow and then you fail and then you grow, and a lot of people don't understand it. What I mean by that is that if I've got online businesses, if I signed up with a agency or whatever, and they did a lot of stuff, a lot of information from me, and then they were costing me too much. They were costing me too much money. Like on my margins was like rubbish, and I lost a lot of money in those couple of months. But the knowledge I gained from that, so I failed, right? Like don't need that agency. Reevaluated. Maybe they were doing a strategy that didn't work for selling my products on Amazon, or then I would reevaluate. That's a failure. And then, or if I was doing it myself and I got the strategy wrong, I lost the money. That's a failure. But then I've learned not to do that strategy now. I've learned that strategy doesn't work for that product. So there's growth in that. And then that's down you go, and then you go back up, you reevaluate and go back, and then you do a different strategy. So that's what we mean. Like, little failures along the way. Like, I could have lost, a couple of £1,000, and then I'll just go, oh, this is not worth it. I can't do it. Like it's not for me. And then the negative, that negative voice comes in. And if you listen to that voice and if you feed it, yeah, I'm not good enough. I was crap at school. The teacher said I was like, you know, I failed on that in school, and maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I just go back to my normal job. And that's failure. And then you stop. That is failure. That's detrimental to any human being. Stopping and giving up. Because you've learned from that failure. And nobody else knows the knowledge you know because you failed at that thing. Because you went through it. You experienced it. So stopping is the worst thing you could do. You just look at it and go, what can I take in it? What is the good in that failure? And then reevaluate and then try it again. Because you're grown. You're a better person than the person who failed because you've got knowledge of the failure. So that is what I mean when like you fail a little bit, go back down, grow again. Yeah, that's yeah, and you just got to keep growing towards your vision. You need to have a life vision, a goals to work towards. Like there's always that saying, if the ship if the captain of the ship doesn't know where he's going, he's not going to end up in a destination. The wheel of the boat's going to spin and he's going to end up in the rocky shore and sink. But he could have, I don't know, the Gold Coast in Australia, the end map, the nice, beautiful beach that he's going to end up on. If you've got a map, you know where you're going. You need, yeah, having a goal and a life vision is very, very important.
And thinking about, you say, when you get those dips and everything like that, I'm thinking of the Thomas Edison story where,
Yeah.
he supposedly failed 10,000 times to create the light bulb. And people said to him, didn't you get discouraged by that? And his answer was no, because I found another way that doesn't work. So that means I'm getting closer to the goal. So the goal never changed. And the fact he was failing was almost adding to his desire again and adding to his faith. and he was just persistent. So it's a totally different way of thinking from a lot of the things that we've probably been brought up to believe. Like, if you're not this kind of person, you can't do this. I don't believe that anymore. I believe you can be whatever you choose you want to be.
I think
It all comes
school.
down, it does
Well,
come down to that vision. Like that vision is absolutely everything. And we've been studying decision, and this is what this audio clip's about. And I think we've now come to the conclusion that the main decisions is that life vision, at least a 20-year vision minimum. And then you work backwards from that. You can break that down to a 10-year, to a 5-year, three, one, and even to a quarterly plan, and even to a daily to a certain extent. And we've talked about the laws a little bit, the laws of cause and effect. Whatever you say or do will cause some effect. So if you're not seeing immediate results, that law is quite comforting, because if you're not seeing the immediate results in your outside sort of world, you can go inwards and go, well, I am doing this and it's causing an effect because that's a law. And just recently learned from Bob Proctor when he says, with the law of effect, there's an opposite for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So the way I'm seeing this at the moment is like my goal's in the middle kind of thing. And if I'm taking action and there's an opposite reaction, we're getting closer and closer. I think he explains it in a way that everything you want is also seeking you. So if you take action towards it, you're moving towards it and it moves towards you equally. So these laws of the universe are really important to understand. And I know I need to do a little bit more study on those. But if you're working with the laws, you cannot fail. And like you said, Joe, the only failure is if you stop. And I know Brad Sugars says as well, the only failure is the failure to participate. So if you're not participating in getting towards your goals, yeah, you failed for that amount of time until you decide to pick it up and go again. Because there's no harm in that, neither. You can stop for a while, pick it back up again, but then stay on that, like that frequency, do those things every day, commit to it. Know that you're working with the laws. We've got 5 minutes, Joe.
yeah, the laws are very important. I've only really come to start to understand the laws of the universe. Because like if I drop this down, it falls. That is a law. We can't see it. We don't know why it happens, but that happens. And we named it gravity. Electricity flows from positive to negative. We can't see it, we can't smell it, but it brings light. That is a law. The law of cause and effect, the law of vibration, like the laws are out there, and you should Google them and have a little read because they're very, very influential. The one I've learned most recently is the law of vacuum, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
Mhm.
It's a bit of a tricky one, but if you've got a space that it's occupied by something in your house, what's the name of it? Gallagher, isn't it? Proctor Gallagher, Bob
Yeah,
Proctor's partner. She told a story about where she went into her auntie's house and they had really old curtains, and they didn't like them. And she said, "Well, you're never going to get new curtains because you've got your old ones there." She
yeah,
goes, "It's the law of vacuum. You can make room, and then something would fill it. It's like air. Like air has to fill every part of the world. So if
yeah,
you, it's a vacuum. So what happened was, the minute she says that, in that moment, her auntie took down the curtains. Her husband didn't want her to do, and then they had no curtains, so everybody could see in. And in about 3 weeks later, they had brand new curtains because there was room for the new curtains to go in. So I'm starting to use this in my life. She also said that if you clean out your cupboards, like your clothes cupboards, you cause a vacuum. So I'm now binning loads of stuff in my house because I just look at it and go, actually, if I just get rid of all that stuff, new stuff, I will naturally fill it with new stuff. So these are laws that, if you use them in your advantage, can be very, very powerful. And you know when you're working with them because it flows. Like you made a great analogy with the night and the day, the days are getting shorter and that was a brilliant one. Like there's always an opposite a reaction at both ends. Like there's a
Yeah,
north and a south, an east and a west, a left and a right. So yeah, the laws are important.
yeah. So let's wrap this up then. So we've covered a bit more decision study this week. You've heard me and Jer's side of it. So the idea of this is to get diverse perspectives. So please, please, please put your comments in the comment section of what you think that idea means to you. And if you've got anything you want to say on the laws or absolutely anything at all, just put your comments down below because it's all about helping each other. And you might write something there that someone else reads, and that could be the missing piece for them, and helps them on their journey. And that's your way of giving out. And another law, what you give out comes back to you in abundance. So the more you can give out, if you've got something good to share, please put it in the comments. That's the end of the episode, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.